Welcome to a new video of Siebert Group. I'm Martin Siebert and I'm here with Michael.
They go to Slack, they go to email, and they start bugging the people that shouldn't be bothered, and it can take you around 2 hours to really fill every field, create every description, assign the right people, so on and so forth, just to onboard a one person. And this is what brought us onto that solution selling kind of motion instead of just creating apps.
You're from Poland, right?
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
From Deviniti.
Deviniti.
Thanks for dropping by. Okay, what are we going to be talking about?
Right, so today I thought I would, first of all, we're all very excited to be here at Team 25 in Anaheim, California, and basically to hear all the announcements and the direction that Atlassian has been on for quite some time now with the system of work and really inviting more and more business teams to the Atlassian suite to really maximize the value that you get from the platform. So I would like to give a bit of background how us, Deviniti, as a marketplace partner, doing apps, how we approach this, this kind of change that, and the mindset that we have adopted also, we've been adopting for quite a few years now in our products. Then I'll just give a slight overview of what our portfolio does, what it's all about, and where it provides the most value, and also how we as Deviniti think about our apps, think about new products, and so on and so forth. So both from the solution partners and also customers, I think both of those groups will take something valuable from the presentation.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, then let's dive right in. For like the first sentence, someone told me in the recent days that Atlassian has always been very successful with tech teams.
Yeah.
And now they unleash the potential of every team.
Absolutely.
And he said, if they only make it halfway through what they did right now, they may have conquered, I don't know, like 20% of the market, the tech people, but there's like 80% left.
Absolutely.
And there's a strong potential for, if you're a customer, growing those apps into other departments in the company.
Yeah.
And for Deviniti, maybe also to grow more business.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm interested to learn about your view.
Absolutely.
From Poland.
Okay. Yeah. Right, so we'll go through the story lane or our presentation in a second. But first of all, I would like to give a bit of background and about how our thinking about apps changed over the years. So
awesome.
A few years ago, we were thinking about what native JSM or Jira lacks and what functionalities can we bring onto the table that are not in the native offering, and that was basically it. And there we had a portfolio of apps which customers used, and so on and so forth. But when we started to dive a bit deeper, talking to customers, talking to partners, we realized that, okay, instead of saying what new functionalities can we bring to JSM or Jira, we should be asking ourselves questions. Okay, how do customers submit tickets? How do agents handle those tickets? How does that experience look like? So we started to think more about the process than the functionality itself. So what our apps do is they provide value across the process. They enhance the experience of actually doing something, for example, submitting a ticket or is assessing the ticket or doing the triage in the ticket. That way you can bundle the apps together to basically form a solution instead of selling like small laser focused tools, small tools, enhancements to the tool itself. So of course there's still apps, there's still giving more functionality, but the way we communicate that definitely changed. And over the years, how we talk with partners, how we talk to customers, that is really reflective of what Atlassian has been doing for the past few years with the system of work, with changing the narrative from tech teams to actually every team, unleashing, as you said, unleashing the potential of every team, enhancing your workday experience. How does your day-to-day work look like? And this is something that we do with our apps as well. Our portfolio is mainly focused on service management, and this is our DNA, I would say. This is where we have the most of our apps, and this is where we provide the most value. And so in that process space, in the area, we thought, okay, what are the problems that our customers encounter? So as I said, how do customers submit tickets? How we could enhance that? How to invite more roles into the party as opposed to just tech teams. So from those kind of discussions, we came up with 7 different problems, I would say problem areas, that our apps then address and solve and provide value. One problem area could be solved by one app, but sometimes it's solved by 3 apps bundled together. And this is what brought us onto that solution selling kind of motion instead of just creating apps. Right, so if we take a look at the screen, yeah, I hope it works. Right, so here we can see all those different problems, both from the customer's point of view on the customer portal and also the agent's point of view. And also our portfolio is divided in those 2 areas, so customer experience, agent experience. And for example, if we take an area or like a pain point that is called limited information for the customer on the request view, then this is a pain point that we solve by a combination of our apps. I'm going to show you in a second, but what it's really about is the amount of information that the customer sees once they send a request. So if I send a request, for example, there was an incident in a payment processing process, something in that direction, or that could be an HR request, a finance request, or a legal request, processing a legal agreement, for example. When I see the view of the request, aside of the status, request type, and some other information, there's not much more that I can really take value from, get information from. I would need to get more context. So if the customers don't have that context, they don't know what to expect, who is handling their tickets, they don't know what to expect in terms of resolution times. Also, they don't really know how or who to escalate with, how to escalate, what's the best way to go about it. They start to go to all those different indirect channels. They go to Slack, they go to email, and they start bugging the people that shouldn't be bothered with that request, saying, okay, how's that request going? When is it going to be handled? Who's handling that request? Who should I talk to? All these different questions that come up that were created just because there wasn't much information to read from the native request view. So to tackle that, we do something called ticket enrichment.
Okay.
And basically, this view is achieved by a combination of our apps. This is 3 apps, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they give you a rundown of information and additional information that you see in the ticket. That's main purpose is to deflect all of those questions to agents, all those questions to those different people on Slack or emails, because right now all the information that customers usually ask about are available right there on the ticket. So for example, we have if you use the Azure AD, Entra ID, attribute sync, this is an app that allows you to pull the data about a certain person, a certain user picker.
That's for the agent now, right? He now finds out what this user is, a department in, and so on.
It also works for the agent, but right now we are on the customer's view. So this is what the customer sees when they send a request. They go
And the
to
customer is an employee in this case, right?
Employee, yeah, of course. Yeah, so an employee sent an internal request about something that could be an HR request, for example. So they see all the information about the person who is handling the request. They see their email, Slack handle, phone number. They get all these different escalation
If
paths.
that is in Azure ID.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we pull the data from it and we expose it to the employees, the people who created the request. Next up, we've got SLAs and also different custom fields that we can see on the request view, and that is to address the problem of employees not knowing what is happening with their tickets aside of the status, which is not very telling. So if I see the SLA, I know what to expect in terms of resolution timelines. How much time does the agent have to answer me? So I'm a bit less frustrated, a bit more at ease when I see this information, and I don't have to bother the agents about when's that ticket going to be handled, what's happening with it. Okay, how much time do we have for this? So they can see all of it directly on the request view. Also, aside from that, we can display a variety of different information and custom fields. So, for example, we can display linked issues. So we know what kind of tasks were created to solve my ticket. I know what people are doing to solve my ticket right now. So I didn't know that before. Also, I get to see, for example, when was the last time that the ticket was updated. Also, I can see, for example, the investigation reasons, so something that the developers can look at. So I get this whole array of different context pieces that really enhance my experience of basically interacting with the customer portal. I don't have those bad emotions. I don't bother other people, and I know what is going on with the ticket. So it's much more than just the status, and all the apps are achieving that exact thing. Okay, and the third point is actually the possibility to edit the request. Of course, it can be done in native Jira forms. However, to enable that edit, we need to ask the person responsible to expose the form to the edits. And here we give much more flexibility to the admins. So basically, I can edit the ticket whenever I want. And I don't have to ask anybody to allow me to edit the ticket. I can edit only those fields that were permitted for me to edit by the admins. So, for example, I can edit only a due date on my ticket because that's what admins specify, because they have that flexibility. And also, I can do the edits both as an action, as we see on the screen, but also on the transition. So, whenever the status is changing, I can add some additional information if that's required in the process.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what it looks like. It's achieved by 3 applications. The first one is extension for Jira Service Management. Then we've got actions for Jira Service Management. And the last one is Entry ID attribute syncs for Jira.
And if you scroll up and down, there's quite a few 91 matches that Deviniti.
Yes, absolutely. We do have a lot of products, and we're bundling them together in all different spaces, in all different configurations, and also the amount of apps that we have in the marketplace pushed us more to actually package them in a solution, because doing marketing for different separate apps, when you have that many of them, it's not the most efficient way to communicate the value. So that's why we turn to solution setting. We turn to really explaining how we enhance the experience, And only later in the conversation, we explain what enabled that experience. So
I saw here that you're using a software to show this. Can customers look at that themselves? Is that public, or is that it's something that I need to call a salesperson from you to go through?
So right now it is on demand.
Okay.
However, it is we will publish a public version of it, so that everyone can go ahead and look at what kind of problems I might have with my service management, both ITSM and ESM, and then go over how we enhance that experience, how we solve those problems. And there are also like links to the marketplace apps, so you will get that whole journey from the problem to the solution to the marketplace. So you don't have to look around the marketplace and really try to like walk in the dark to find the solution, to find your desired app. But right now we do that work for you, and if the problem fits for you, then you have a very clear journey to the marketplace. So you don't have to worry about that, really.
Cool. And so now we had like 4 different ways of going through such a story lane.
Yep.
Or do you want to show us something else? Or
absolutely. Yeah. So for example, let's go ahead and look at the other problem area that we also use a bundle of our apps to solve. This is more for the agent. This is more an enhancement for the agents rather than customers.
Okay.
The thing I showed you before was from the customer's perspective, like the employee perspective, what they see when they send a request. Right now, we are at the stage where the agent needs to begin the resolution of the request. So we got the request, it's all assessed, it went through triage, and then now we need to create tasks, and the product managers need to create tasks to actually solve the ticket. So when we looked at that problem area and we looked at how that experience works like right now, and what we saw is when you get to a certain complexity of the process, and there's much more information that you need to include in the issue when you're creating it than normally, then you really can get confused because for example, if we look at the screen, there are so many different fields that should be filled to create this issue, and not all of them are required. From the forms perspective, like technically they're not required, but you need to fill them anyway. For the process to be able to go further, and for the people to know the right stuff on the ticket. So when you've got that complexity, it becomes really hard to actually create that request. So you don't know which field you should fill, which field you can leave empty. If you can fill one field and then the other field, do those values really can be put together in one ticket? For example, the impact and priority of the ticket, priority of the issue, sorry. So if my bug impacts 500 people, I should be able to only give it a highest priority. And right now, with the solution that we have here, the only thing you can do is, okay, say this bug impacts 500 people, and then I can still assign it the lowest priority, which is not something you want to do. It creates all different kind of confusions. Yeah. So how we approach that is we use the app called Dynamic Forms for Jira, which I'll show you also in a second, and it allows you to create all those different, let me make that bigger, to project all those different behaviors on the form. So depending on what you select in a previous field, in previous fields, the next fields will appear based on the rules that you configured. And that is within Jira. It's not like on the portal, it's within Jira. And also the impact that we see right now, if we select that it impacts a different amount of people, the different things can happen on the form. So if we say that it's a high impact, we need to provide some kind of justification for it. If we say that it has a lower impact, we can only select between medium and high priority. For example, if we select high priority, we can click Sev1, Sev2, Sev3. If we select lowest priority,
so there's a form logic.
Yes, there's a form logic implemented on the form, and you can do loads of stuff when it comes to implementing that logic on the form. It's not only the fields, like the showing more fields or restricting options. These are just the two of the fields. Two of the behaviors that you can configure. There's many more. For example, we can set value of the field. So if I say that this bug impacts this specific app, the team will be automatically assigned. Well, the field assignee will be automatically filled with the right person. So if you do this right, you can automate a lot of the business process just by implementing the right logic on the form. There are many different use cases, but the one with setting value, or like automatically assigning someone to the ticket, automatically assigning priority, this is the thing that we see provides the most value. But we can do much more with the form, and it's all in our very user-friendly no-code environment. And you can also use AI to configure the app for you.
Okay.
So you don't even if it's user-friendly, you may still want to express with your natural language what would you like to happen with the form. So you can do that using our AI assistant that is built within the app, and basically tell them, okay, when the bug impacts this app, I want this team to be assigned to the ticket. And the agent will create that configuration for you. So you won't have to worry about building it yourself. You can then fine tune it, of course, but it's the fastest way to actually get to those, create those complex rules.
That sounds interesting, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Right, so the next thing, also revolving around creating tasks, is when you need to create a lot of those tasks at one time. So for example, if I'm the HR manager and there's a new person coming on board, I need to create a set of onboarding tasks for them. And every time there's a new person, I need to create the same tasks over and over again. They need to get a laptop, they need to get access to software, and they need to get their office key card. All those different things all those different activities that are repetitive every time the new person comes in. And when you want to, look, sometimes this could be 20, 30 tasks, even more. And when you try to create it using the native functionalities, it may get a little, I would say, sorry, I lost the word, but it may get a bit tedious the tedious is the right word, I would say. So it gets tedious to create all of those tasks, and it can take you around 2 hours to really fill every field, create every description, assign the right people, so on and so forth, just to onboard a one person. So how we tackle that is, see, I'm talking about all this and we still haven't created even one task. We created one task. So what we can do instead is use the app called Issue Templates for Jira. And that app allows you to create all those different task structures from the epic to the subtask itself, that really they can start the whole processes such as onboarding or post-incident documentation, or many different ones, both for IT and non-IT teams. And we can create those complex task structures in basically minutes, not even seconds if you configure it that way. So right now we don't have to spend 2 hours to create all those tasks for our person that is coming, that we want to onboard. And right now, all we do is, let me just go ahead to the app. All you do is from the create button within Jira, you click create from templates, you choose a template, and basically that's it. And also, as with the same way as it was with the dynamic forms, the logic on the forms, you can also implement logic to the templates. So for example, going back to the onboarding use case, when we want to onboard somebody, we need to know their first and last name. So before the template can be created, it will ask you for this additional detail. So was the first and last name of the person that we are
creating templates. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. I need to be conscious a little bit of time. So if people now come to your booth, you'll have this ready,
Absolutely.
right? And
Yes.
they can show you. And even if I'm watching the video later, you'll probably be there and be able to dive in.
Absolutely.
Into those different. Can you show us those 7 areas again that
Yes.
that you're looking at? Chapters. Okay.
Right. Let me just refresh that so you see everything.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have things like
Overload.
overloaded with request types. So when you have too many
requests.
forms.
Yeah, lack of information request view, limit possibilities. And there's an 8. Okay, it starts with an instruction. What's the 8?
Right, so
Inconsistency generation.
yeah, this is the thing that I showed you right now with the logic on the form and templates.
Cool.
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
thank you so much for giving us this presentation.
No worries. Always. So if you're in Anaheim, then please come up to our booth, say hi, and we can go through it a bit more deeply.
We're both hoping that it's going to be here next year.
Yes,
But,
absolutely.
Otherwise, you'll have to see their booth somewhere else next year.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Thank you.